actually. I gave her 93, and you
Wow.
are given 90. Okay?
Yes po. Thank you po.
Ma'am
Thank you,
Alexis, you are
ma'am.
given 90.
Thank you,
Okay, this
ma'am.
time we have Sir Jesse.
Yes, ma'am. Let me just share my screen. See. Nakikita niyo na po ba?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay po. Um, Now we will go on
Yes
with
po.
language and culture, and let's go right into it. Language is an integral part of culture, and human culture cannot exist without it. There's also
Mm-hmm.
this very popular saying, the second bullet, which says, culture is language, and language is culture.
Yeah.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
actually, the very accents of language associates with national identity, and then we can think of a culture after we identified the accent of that person. For
Mm-hmm.
example, if I go, 1,000 apologies for being late for your class, Miss Gloria. I was caught in the traffic. I'll make sure it will not happen again. So
Yeah.
if I go like that, you could guess the nationality of the person you're talking to.
Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh.
If I also go, I'm so grumpy today. I've spilled some water on my computer. You've also had another idea on that one. So language is integrated with culture. There's no
Uh-huh.
question about that. However, um, the question is, how could we use this in education?
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the importance of learning this one? So, what's the importance of learning the relation of language and culture? First is that we can use it to broaden the relational skills and cultural outlook of people, especially
Mm-hmm.
our students. Going
Mm-hmm.
to school requires socialization. And
Mm-hmm.
imagine po how difficult it may be for a soft-spoken Batanggenyo
Mm-hmm.
attending an all Pangasinan speaking class here in Pangasinan. And
Mm-hmm.
we reverse it. On the other hand, imagine how strange would it be for Pangasinense kids to hear how this migrant Batanggenyo speaks
Mm-hmm.
his or her mind. They might be confused at first. They might imitate them in a joking way. And it happens. And it will happen more because we no longer live in days where people just stay to the place where they are. We're already in times where people who are not rich can already afford cars, and more
Mm-hmm.
people can afford to try to live in other places. So, obviously, we're going to meet these hurdles brought by language and culture. So, the second
Mm-hmm.
bullet, it says language and culture can bring
Can
walls.
oh, yeah.
And it's a big failure, if I may call it, even quote unquote shame, if we haven't prepared kids for these hurdles that they may face in life. We should
Mm-hmm.
prepare them for this. We ourselves should prepare for this. And among all people, we teachers should be very knowledgeable about this if we wish to be very effective. The
Mm-hmm.
walls
True.
brought by language and culture. Because
Mm-hmm.
sooner or later, everyone, regardless of the age, will face the walls brought by the difference of your own language and culture, among others. So, hence, in this university, we are so glad that we are learning about these things in social dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's go to Edward Sapir, a linguist himself. He acknowledged the close relationship between language and culture. If there's a person who can testify strongly to this statement, it should be a linguist. And
Mm-hmm.
this is Sir Edward Sapir, who testified it himself, knowing a lot of languages, testified that there's a connection between the two. I can also give an example. as a teacher for Chinese students trying to learn English. I've had a student before who is a medical doctor who wants to improve her English skills,
Mm-hmm.
but she's very arrogant. She thinks too much of herself, I think, and even showing some quite irritating attitude on me. There's
Mm-hmm.
this one time when she was telling me how to cook a Chinese cuisine in an arrogant tone of using the English language. And
Mm-hmm.
in the end, she said proudly, "I'm good, right?" And my response was, "Yeah, yes, ma'am." And my response was, "Oh, you're great. I'm down. You're even better than Shakespeare and J.K. Rowling combined, I
Oh
guess."
my God.
And then she said, "Thanks." Well, you see, dear classmates and a professor, she didn't catch my sarcasm. She just
Oh.
knows the language, but not the
Mm.
culture of the
Yeah.
native people that speaks it as a
Mm-hmm.
mother tongue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hence, or therefore, she did not catch the sarcasm. Or
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's normal for them to speak that way, but she's not just aware that it's quite irritating. Perhaps that
Mm-hmm.
could be a possibility. Well, but in both ways, that's an example of a poor communication brought by walls of language and culture.
Okay.
So, the next slide, the linguistic relativity hypothesis. This is also known as Sapir-Whorf hypothesis or Whorfianism. Of course, it's still by the linguist Edward Sapir, who has coined this word. And then the second bullet, it's or this linguistic relativity hypothesis asserts that language actually determines the possibilities for a culture's norms, beliefs, and values. Let's talk more about that. Determines the possibilities for a culture's norms, beliefs, and values. This means that language is the medium in which a culture's development is being achieved. The language determines all of what can happen in a culture's norms, beliefs, and values. The more systematic and rich the language is, the more beliefs, norms, and values are being handed over in history or acquired from other countries. Without language, we cannot develop these norms, beliefs, and values. I guess we could admit this that we've probably seen way much more English movies than Filipino movies. And have you ever wondered why? Using and liking English is not wrong per se. Why do we like watching these movies? It's not really wrong per se. It's not being unpatriotic. But we Filipinos like to explore since we're very capable. We explore a lot of things when we see these movies because we learn many parts of their culture and language when we
Yeah.
see English movies. And because of the English language, we are undeniably influenced. That cannot be nullified. That cannot be denied that we are undeniably influenced by these movies. Even our kids,
Yeah.
um, they are influenced by not even to the extent of movies, but just by cartoons, by songs, and so on. And so when we are influenced by these things, uh, we can say that language affects or determines our culture. There's this what we call globalization, where we change, we modify our culture according to the things that we learn. Now, on the next slide, culture. Um, this is a coined or paraphrased definition of culture because Ember, Callan, E.B. Taylor, Alan Jensen, etc. have different definitions of this one, but I've put them into one sentence. So culture is the set of learned behaviors. So it's a set of learned behaviors. We have different behaviors, the way we act, beliefs that includes the superstitious and even non-superstitious beliefs that we have, attitudes, Values, like for example, one value that is very well known among Filipino people is being hospitable. That's part of value. Laws are part of culture. So
Mm-hmm.
that cannot be erased or denied as well. Customs. Customs is a much more specific type of culture or a specific way how we do culture. And then emotional, spiritual, intellectual features and ideals. Even these very ideals, it talks about, as in the preamble, it says ideals and aspirations, our dreams, the things that we want to be, the things we want to achieve, are part of culture. Um, and ideals that are characteristics of a particular society, population, or system that are constantly, this is a very important part here, that are constantly communicated among people. Culture is communicated, handed over among people. So that's the definition of culture right there. Now let's go, though, to the characteristics of culture. The first essential characteristic of culture, and it should not be forgotten, is that culture is learned. So that's number one. Culture is learned. Inculturation is the transmission of culture from one generation to the next. What do we mean by number one? Remember the sentence that it isn't biologically inherited. You don't
Yeah.
get to be born with a culture. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
You
Yes.
learn the
That's true.
culture. Yes, ma'am, if you want to add something, ma'am.
Okay. Just go on. I'm
Okay.
just trying to agree with you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So it isn't biologically inherited. You learn the culture of where you grow, no matter what your genes are, no matter what your nationality is. You learn the culture of where you grow or the culture that you immerse yourself with.
Yes.
The way we dress, the way we speak are all
Yes.
learned in the society around us. It is learned and therefore it can be taught. So if it
Yes.
is learned, it can be taught. So the fact that culture is learned proves that culture is part of learning. That's the very
Yes.
reason why we're talking about these things right now, even if we are
Mm.
taking or about to take let and not taking a course that would put us into being anthropologists. So we could say,
Mm-mm.
well, why are we studying about culture? We're not trying to be anthropologists here. That's the field
Mm-mm.
of anthropologists, people who study society and people. But since the very fact that culture is learned and then there are walls that are brought by cultures, we teachers should also learn it because it is part of learning. Number two,
Mm.
culture is shared by a group of people. Now, when we
Yeah.
say share, let's read the bullet first. It must be commonly shared by some population or group of individuals. The word shared here does not mean imparted mainly, or although that can be related to that word, but the very meaning of the word shared here, let's underscore that. The very meaning of it is common or mutual. It means
Mm.
mutual. There is no such thing as my own culture. There
Mm-hmm.
is no culture of one or
Mm-hmm.
a culture that is only known to you. It should be shared, mutual, among a group of people. And it could be a big number of people or even down to the basic unit. In many cases, families even have cultures. So we often hear the phrases like, in this family, we don't do that, because families have their own cultures. But as long as it is not a culture of one, it is a shared culture. So therefore, when culture is shared, it isn't owned by one person, but by several members of a society that shares it. That's why we have some famous line as well, such as Ilocanos are kuripot, although I don't adhere to that because
Yeah.
Ilocanos are, if you really know them, they're also
Hindi
very,
po.
yeah, they're also very
Yeah.
generous.
Ilocano ko, sir.
Oh yes, ma'am.
Ilocano ka.
Thank you for seconding.
May, may
I also
umamin
come from
agad.
an Ilocano family, so I can really understand it. Another one is Visayas are brave, although this one is a positive one. But we have a lot of sentences like this. Kapampangans are this, Mindanaoans are like this and that.
Oo.
Why? Why do we hear these things? Because we know that these traits are shared in such culture.
Yeah.
So it is shared. And number three,
And it cannot be just
yes, ma'am.
easily erased from the minds of the people because that was already shared to many generations, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So the sharing also strengthened the existence of that culture.
Yes.
Wow, thank you, ma'am.
There is that
And
impact already, a greater impact. Okay, it's somewhat there was a greater sense of conviction, no, na
mm,
na-convince na ang maraming tao that Ilocanos are like this,
mm,
the Pampangueños are like this, Pangasinenses are like this and that. Okay?
mm,
So these are already being shared from many generations.
mm.
Okay? And many are already convinced. Kaya hindi easy na mabura yun sa isip ng mga tao. Okay? Continue, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice
Thank you, ma'am.
sharing.
Thank you, ma'am. And number three, culture is cumulative. So this is a quite, we need to define this word here, cumulative. But let's read first the bullet. Worked out solutions to the basic problems of life. What do we mean by cumulative? It means increasing in quantity, increasing in degree, or increasing in force by successive additions. So that's a keyword, successive additions. So it changes into an increasing way. It becomes bigger, it becomes more comprehensive, or whatever way we want to put it, as long as it is in an increasing way. Culture elements are added up as the needs arise. Culture elements are added up as the need arise. Let's think of an example. Pre-pandemic, there isn't much culture about conducting of online classes. But now the proper behaviors in the culture of attending online class is increasing. This
Yes.
includes turning off microphone when not speaking, or turning off your microphone when your environment is too loud so that others would not be disturbed.
Disturbed,
Introducing
yeah.
yourself first before speaking in a classroom where there's a lot of students. Choosing a
Yeah.
non-distracting background when cameras needed to be opened so that
Yeah.
people could concentrate, etc. These accumulations arise because of the arising needs. The
Mm-hmm.
pandemic, because of the pandemic, there is an arising need to put the classes online, and we develop culture with this one as
Mm-hmm.
well. I've seen
Yeah.
a lot of videos from foreign online classes that they upload. They make fun of their teachers, which is quite funny for a lot of young people, but I don't really find it funny because
Mm-hmm.
I believe nilulugar po yung um, mga bagay na ganun, especially when the topic is so important,
True.
or when the teacher is sharing something that is needed to be grasped. Another example po that we can learn from law, because I took political science,
Mm-hmm.
and wanting also to take law. Another example that we can learn from law is the nursing areas or breastfeeding rooms in
Yeah.
public places for mothers with their babies.
Yes.
In the past, this is okay po.
Mm-hmm.
You could see mothers breastfeeding in public places in a
Anywhere.
very, yes, ma'am, in a
Yes.
very,
Anywhere.
for lack of better terms, in a very revealing way, as far
Yes.
as I can remember. They don't care. And
Yes.
Also, people don't care. It's
Yes.
quite normal. But these days,
Mhm.
because of the influences of the Western countries and all other cultures, it isn't that okay anymore, and we've
Yeah.
become more sensitive.
Yeah.
Laws are being passed, so establishments would set breastfeeding rooms as the
Mhm.
society changes. So this is an example of a cumulative aspect of culture. It accumulates.
Yeah. So
Yes, ma'am.
you were able to you were able to intensify the first characteristics that culture is learned. We learn from it, right? So we have that.
Yes, ma'am.
Before any mothers can breastfeed their babies wherever they like.
Mm.
Okay, but now, okay, somewhat there is a provided room for them to breastfeed their babies, and not
Yes, ma'am.
anywhere.
Mm.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you for that.
Thank you, ma'am. 4 and 5. Cultures change or is dynamic. So cultures change or is as a whole culture is dynamic. Um, it accumulates, but at some point it changes. So all cultural knowledge does not perpetually accumulate. When we say perpetually, it means continuous or even
Added.
continual. Yes, ma'am.
Uh-huh.
It accumulates, but it does not perpetually do that. At some point, it changes. And some of
Uh-huh.
the reasons for these changes are the first one is discovery. In the past, we've had this culture of harana. That's
Yes.
why there's a song that goes, "Ito pa ba ang harana?" Because and when we say harana, we imagine a picture of a man holding his guitar, singing a song to a girl, looking over her window, a very romantic scene. Actually, this
Mhm.
is a notion that in the past, romantic men are expected to play guitar. But
Yeah.
because we discovered learned that women's fingers are also capable and flexible in playing guitar. In the past, the notion is men play guitar, women
Uh-huh.
cool. That's more acceptable. But because of the discovery that women are also capable and flexible, uh,
Uh-huh.
changes. So first is discovery. That also goes with sports. In the past, majority of athletes are men.
Yeah.
Not all, but majority. But we discovered that women's flexibility and agility are as good. So we now have a diverse number of, we're a mixed gender for
Athletes.
people who are doing sports. Yes, or athlete. Next one is
Mhm.
invention. This is very obvious, but let's still dig in deeper. Most especially technology that are invented, from airplanes which made the computer in which it influenced the world, how to think, and
Mhm.
sometimes even how to talk. We try to be like them. We find it cool. Libraries are dying because of the digitalization of libraries and accessibility of internet search engines. I'm not sure if using libraries are still being taught in high school nowadays, but
Mhm.
the fact that libraries are dying because of the advancement of technology. These are all parts of culture in the past, but they are changing and even being replaced according to these inventions and changes in the society. Yeah, the question will be left for us if this is good or bad. A lot of people would say good, but there are also some things that we miss in the past cultures that we had. The third one is diffusion. As simple as food is becoming more global, cultures all around the world are being diffused to other cultures. We now love some gipsal, nachos.
Mhm.
Love some gipsal. That's
Nachos.
why I did not
Yeah.
open my video because I love samgyeopsal and it
Uh-huh.
to me a lot. Samgyeopsal, not just sushi, etc. Other foods. We also in the past we like to, or our politicians love more to wear barongs. Now there are in number of
Na maong.
yes, ma'am. And also other clothes, what we call Americana, and so on. This is the fusion of other cultures to other cultures. So next one, number 5, culture is ideational. This is a very good thing that we should remember about culture. Culture is an ideal pattern of behavior which the members are expected to follow. These are all very important as being teachers. You know, we form ideas in society, ideas that we are expected to follow. Here we see that culture is not anti-intellectual. Actually, it is the work of an intellectual adaptation. Ideas are structures where expectations are built upon. That's why different cultures have ideal ages when to marry,
Yes.
ideal
For men, what do you think is the ideal age for marriage? Okay. So,
later on.
as you said, the uh, culture changes. Before, it's okay for a woman to be married at age 14, like my mom. My mother got married at the age of 14, and my father was 17. Okay. Now, however, there is the so-called ideal age because there is already the set uh, the set age by our government for them to be entering the so-called married life. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So hindi pinapayagan even sa simbahan. Hindi pinapayagan even sa munisipyo na kumuha ng ganito, ng license, ng ganito, because they are still underage. So, pinapaantay yung tinatawag na proper age for marriage. Okay? So, at this era, what do you think is the ideal age for marriage in this contemporary situations we are in now? What do you think?
I've heard a lot of people who said 25 around those age men.
25 above. Okay? For men, no? Para sa lalaki, it should be 25 and above. Okay? So, for ladies, what do you think? 20? Ilan? Ilan ang dapat na edad ng babae? Okay? Usually kasi, kapag umabot na siya sa edad ng 20, no? Then, ang analysis natin ay nakapagtapos na ng college. So, for practical reason, okay, they are going to enter into married life. Okay, the man and the woman had to be financially secured first. So, kahit nang tapos na siya ng college, pag hindi pa siya financially secured, or both of them are not yet financially secured, kahit na naabot na nila yung age na yan, then they may say that, yun, sinabi mo, culture is dynamic. So, hindi pa
Yes.
rin sila dapat handa. So, may pagbabago na kailangan nilang i-adapt. Hindi pa sila handa. Although parehas na silang nakapagtapos. Okay? So, there are so many other factors that they have to consider. And I like that very last one that you shared. Okay? We're going to stop here. Culture is ideational. Okay? So, we have to say that there is an ideal pattern for culture behavior. An ideal pattern for culture behavior with which members are expected to follow. Members of the society are expected to follow. So meaning kailangan silang mag-adjust sa environment to where they belong. Okay? in order to be part, in order not to be outcasted in the society. They are expected to follow the pattern of behavior. They are expected to follow. Can we give example there? Like, aside from age for marriage, ano pa?
When to retire, ma'am?
Yes. Yeah.
When to have a child, how many children should we have according to our statuses?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Some more? Other than that?
How to be a good husband, a
Yeah.
parent.
Yeah. So responsible parenthood, right? Responsible parenthood. So when we speak about responsible parenthood, it's not only providing the material things that a mother or a father is already identified as uh, a responsible parent. Okay, everything of every needs of the children have to be provided, and not only the material thing.
Hmm.
Okay, psychological and all others. So not only the material thing that they need, but
Hmm.
a lot of things. Okay, ano pa? Aside from responsible parent, another
Ma'am, ano po,
yes,
educational opportunity for women. Tapos
yes,
yung place din po nila sa corporate world, yung
yes.
positions. Dati
Okay,
kasi ma'am, women are not allowed, hindi sila nabibigyan ng educational opportunities
yes,
na meron ngayon. Tapos dati
yes,
ma'am sa corporate world, usually men yung nasa posisyon na matataas, sila yung managers, head, pero ngayon yung women ma'am, sumasabay na po sila sa men. Nagkakaroon na ng
okay,
equality and openness po.
okay. I think we will be tackling that when we have the topic gender and development. I think there will be one who will be reporting about gender and development. So one important topic under that is gender equality. Okay, so we have the God. Okay, God, gender and development. So we're going to stop here now, Sir Jesse, and I think you still have some more to tackle for next meeting. So you may be continuing on the rest of the different characteristics,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, and other parts like
Components of culture.
okay, yes. So we still be joining you next meeting for the continuation of your report since it's already done. Okay, so class, thanks for being with one another today and for a very effective and uh, very very comprehensive exchange of ideas that we have today. I like it. So thank you so much.
Very much.
Thank you,
Maraming salamat
ma'am.
sa inyo. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Salamat
po.
ma'am.
din, Julian, sa
Thank you
challenge mo
po.
kanina sa grammar.
Ma'am, sabi nga, napaisip nga ako, oo nga, no, Lina, tapos
Oo,
they. Very
oo,
ano.
oo, yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Hindi ko
Ah.
makalimutan. Over,
Kala mo
ma'am.
tama na, no? Kala mo tama na. Parang wala namang mali, kamo, no? Di ba? Oh, pero yun pala, may mali.
Usually,
So,
ma'am, yun kasi yung mga tricky na questions.
yes. Doon kayo kino-confuse. And when will that be given? Kung kailan kayo gutom na. During the exam. Kung iisang butil na ng kanin ang umiikot dyan sa sikmura, saka nyo ma-encounter ang mga difficult test na yan. Very confusing. Okay, anyway, pag knowledgeable kayo, madadagdagan yung information nyo by attending this, and then you will also be joining us in the review. Okay?
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
good luck, everyone.
Thank you po.
God bless. Okay.
Thank you po.
Thank you. Thank you, Ma'am Alexis and Sir Jesse. Nice
Thank you
report.
po.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Grabe, Sir Jesse. Ang ganda ng boses nyo. Idol.
Idol. Idol.
Lalo ako na pressure.
Bakit?
Ma'am, susunod ako sa kanya after nyo-discuss yung piece,
Magaling si Sir Jesse. Galing ng diction. Okay. Kasi yan A.B. Polsa eh. Ang galing mag-convince na kanyang mga kliyente. Diba? Galing. Kahit binabato na yung kliyente niya, naglalambig pa. So nice. I like the diction. I like the thoughts. Okay. Diba? So bye everyone.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye-bye. Bye, ma'am.
Dito
Guys.
pa pala si ma'am.
Oo nga. Guys,
Kaya
may tanong ako. Sino pang gustong pa-edit dun sa PowerPoint? At tatlo na naman tayo. Apat pala.
Naka-off na sila si Sir Ronald kasi may work.
Ayan, okay na kay Sir Ronald kasi si Sir Ronald
Si
naman.
Sir,
nag-chat naman
si
sa akin
Ma'am
pag-
Cherry, wala siya, may prior
Wait lang po.
appointment. May tanong ako, di ba walang klase ngayon? Di ba second and fourth week ng ng buwan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. May gagawin kasi ako.
Ako, may papa-edit pa ba kayo dun sa kong PowerPoint ng parts nyo?
May wali na.
Okay na po siya, ma'am.
Okay na yun? Kasi nga,
Mm.
naman yung buong explanation nyo. So sabi ko, wait, yung naka-open and close parenthesis base, nasama ko dito.
Opo.
Gulat ako eh.
Sa akin,
Yung
lang,
mga-
konti lang, tapos more on explanation na lang. Parang ganun sa slides ko last time.
Masyado bang plain, guys? Okay na yung ganun na presentation? O lagyan ko,
Okay sa akin.
lagyan ko ng konting kulay. Kasi dalawang ginawa kong parts nun eh. Meron yung ganun lang, na sinend ko sa inyo guys. Tapos may isa yung parang may konting design. Konti lang.
Sa akin, either way, ma'am, okay lang.
Pero hindi siya ganun ka sobrang OA na design naman. Yung plain lang. Medyo simple lang. Send ko na lang. Kasi si Ma'am Mary, tatanong ko sa kanya kung okay lang ba yung binawas ko sa kanya. Kasi kinover niya almost lahat nung elements.
Ilang slides niya, ma'am?
Yung sa kanya, nung sa atin.
Yung sinend niya.
50. 4?
54.
54 ata eh. Hindi niyo chinek? Yung totoo, binuksan mo ba?
Alam kong madami, pero hindi ko nabilang. Kasi di ba ma'am, prior nyo i-send sa GC, sinend nyo sa akin.
Oh,
Nakita
yes.
ko marami, pero hindi ko siya kasi in-scroll ko lang siya, hindi ko naman nabasa eh. Kasi
Okay
through
na,
phone
double
lang
check
ako.
ko.
54? Ang dami.
Double check ko, lang ata ako. Sorry, my bad. 66 slides.
Confirm na lang natin kay ma'am bakit 66.
Ano, bakit 66?
Or baka yun yung detail.